I understand some of your approach. I mean, sometimes we take a hard bite. It helps us as politicians.
Nowadays, when I listen to you, I even panic.
Why?
Maybe, hey,
Why do you panic?
the way you, Papa, you know Papa.
Figuratively, he bites as hard as he can.
Okay.
And of course, when he puts his fangs into you, you certainly feel it. I think it took.
Watch Johnny's bite.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me, and thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Wednesday. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. This morning, I want to specially thank all of you who make time to watch Johnny's Bite, and also to those who share the content and like and comment on it and, you know, give feedback. Thank you so much indeed. I have two men of God who said something very striking, and I will share with you. Let's see the flyers, the code cards. So this was from a conversation we had yesterday with Apostle Abraham Lamte. He says, if money buys conscience, stupidity calls the shot. If money buys conscience, stupidity calls the shot. And he made this comment relative to elections, relative to peace, relative to holding the nation together. Now, for many people, they may be swayed by how much people, and sometimes you listen to the conversations about how people are easily swayed. You suddenly get something small, and then that influences your thoughts. But elections have consequences, as we've been told in the past by Pastor Mensa Otabil. That elections, when you go and queue, it has consequences. So if money buys conscience, stupidity calls the shot. It doesn't matter if the person is your relative, whatever it is, you must decide and choose the best for Ghana. And that was what he said. Let's see the other one. The other one is by Reverend Odami Ansa, Rabbi Odami Ansa. He also spoke about money. He says, the loaded pocket. If you want your pocket to be loaded with enough money, then your mind must first be loaded with enough knowledge on how to make money, keep money, invest money, grow money, spend money, and enjoy money. Always bear in mind that an empty mind will produce an empty pocket. He says, if you want your pocket to be loaded with enough money, then your mind must first be loaded with enough knowledge on how to make money, keep money, invest money, grow money, spend money, and enjoy money. Always bear in mind that an empty mind will produce an empty pocket. He also has a book on how to handle your business and how to, because if you don't control money, money will control you. So those are from the pulpits. Now, show me, there's a picture that I saw of Ghana Airways signboard. And I asked myself this question. So Ghana Airways put this up. They said, still driving, you must be tired. Next time, fly. By Ghana Airways, of course. We do not have Ghana Airways anymore, because as a country, we decided that we will run the business down. In fact, the last time I checked, we had turned it into a chop bar, and even the chop bar, we collapsed it. The last time I checked, we turned Ghana Airways into a chop bar, the aircraft, and then even the chop bar, we collapsed it. We found a way to collapse it. So how do we feel? And I want you to connect with the two issues that I spoke about. It says, if you want, you must first fill your mind with a lot of knowledge, then you can get money. Obviously, we didn't fill our minds as a country with a lot of knowledge. So what was built by Osagyefo's own hands, we decided to destroy it. We decided to destroy it. So we have now decided to be hiring private jet. If we had not spoken about it, private jet was becoming the mainstay. We don't have a national airline as a country. And we used to have, and sometimes you watch some of these old documentaries, you watch some of these things that we used to produce here. We're now trying to major in the minors and make it look as if we are now getting the things that we used to produce. Things that we used to produce. When you watch some of the old videos and you ask yourself, wow. So Ghana used to do this. Ghana used to have this. Then you have a minister, we had a whole ministry for aviation. Aside transport. Aside a whole ministry for aviation. And you ask yourself, what did the ministers really do? Because this one, it could have earned us money. In fact, it was. The story has it that people used to get tickets for their concubines and girlfriends. And that's how come it was run down. For their concubines and their girlfriends. That's how it was run down. Where is our own Ghana Airways? This morning I came to ask very simple questions. Where is our Ghana Airways? And when are we going to get our Ghana Airways back? Do we deserve to have a Ghana Airways? Yes. So why are we not getting it? Does somebody make a cut each time the president or any of our top officials fly private jet? I don't know. I'm asking. Why are we not in a hurry? And we used to have shipping lines. We used to have this picture will tell you how, as a country, we have retrogressed in many ways, but we try to polish on the debt. We try to polish on the debt. How was Ghana Airways sold? Why was it sold? Could we have kept it? I leave it to your good judgment. There's a gentleman, a grown man, who worked so hard in the cold, in Abuchi. He brought his money down here. And you see, Michael Blankton has been ranting on X and social media, and he's been talking. He says he's looking for a finance minister to sue him. He brought money here. A few months ago, he was praising the government, that the government had done so well. And when the government does something, you say it. But when they do what is not correct to you, you have to say it. And I will insist on that because we were called names. We were called Sambalat and Tobias. We were called names. We said, we will not go to the IMF. We are not a people of short sight, blah, blah, blah. That's why we need the e-levy. We are still taking e-levy and we are at the IMF. Find me the old man's video. Play it.
Recording the mayor, President Nanado. Mr. President, your friend Matheson, Sunyana Mewo. Medical recording did my better to Abontia, Mebeka and Sika Mwase. Now we had the last year, Medebe to Abontia. Mr. President, banks in the Wugu no. O promise customers will be making sure say, Ubia Sabeka and Sika 100%. Mr. President, one also in Ghana for whom, Media one, Menemeho, Mensumia Ghana ni. Media press and do now me at the Miatoso. Mechirim say, my coach eyes broke no Holland, 25 years acquire Jumade. They were Holland, they were Ghana, Kranam and Kofumu. They call Holland. The Koyam normal 8 hours ever factories can and soon, that's what your moody and so forth to light here. Obecones Canasa. Team from human donuts, man, Quanquibia, mean to me and Fessicanto. Now, bet now we my in from number 25 good years. Not Saturday, me and Woho. I mean to me, yeah, you mother. Cacre, me, I am a same family, me, I'm a main. Me describe it for commercial bank, a difficult for Giant Bank. Giant Bank, 1 year do ya make quite interest in the Koya, as a President Nado, Wogu Bank, and so the customer sees Cabemayan. 5 years in the Mesanka. The medical commercial bank, no so 1.540 billion. And also, time no so ya make quite interest in Aja Akora, Kamabichim, Namibia, and Quine Bia Hemema. How am I at the President Russo? And also, Mekoya, as a President Nado, also Kojibosian IMF. Tia is Kakoto Garden Bono. Ma bank and Faisika MIA. Mr. President, Bonebe Namidio. Aka bosome baako ene enamienu na ade akonwa ebeto ho de America akye wa ne se nkokrafo ne merafo no mudu musika koto banks na wugu no say Gold Coast Financial and banks na wugu no o share omo bosse obi make sure say customers no ubia sabe kan sika 100%. Ebufu seme ewu me ne say mimi sika 840 million and they be mami bia 200 million e dey beto account kamo de kra kamo mami mu half eya timdini Mr. President the make actually one say nkokrafo ne mrafo no kakra na o maka no be kan bibi e kire o ansa na ade akonya no ato ho medema no asi.
So this is somebody who has broken his back in Holland for 25 years. He gathered his money having done multiple jobs, including farm work. And he says when he was in Ghana, he didn't go to the farm. But because of the conditions out there, sometimes when the deductions are made for utility, bills, etc., by the time you finish, the money is gone. So he did another layer of work, which was farm job, right? Got money, 25 years, saved all his earnings and brought it down here. And then he said he put the money in a bank. Then the banks were collapsed. He goes to the bank to go and take his money. And with all the assurance, mind you, the banking sector collapsed. We started off with 9 billion. Oh. By the time we finished, we had done over 20-something. And still people do not have their monies. Now, as a result of this, he is now on BP medication. That's how he's surviving. He's on BP medication. He says, okay, we thought that government bonds were also very reliable. So I went to buy some, and now I can't get my money. He has over 800 million, and then he's giving 200 million. That's what he says. And then he says, the president is not even telling them anything. So the old men and the old women, he said the president needs to come and speak to them. That's a legitimate call. Because if he looks at this 800 million and he looks at the 200 million that has been put in his account, he thinks it's an insult. And when you say, they say don't say it. And everybody knows that anywhere in the world, when you buy government bonds, it's the safest. So how did we mismanage our situation to the point where now people can't have access to their own monies? How? When you say this, oh, there was global crisis, there was this. When people started asking questions, and for 5 years, he has not had access to his money. When questions came up and the questions arose and people kept asking the questions, we were told it's COVID, Russia, and Ukraine. That was the refrain. COVID, Russia, and Ukraine. Nobody talks about COVID, Russia, and Ukraine anymore. And we have spent money on banking sector collapse or cleanup or whatever you want to call it. And people still do not. He says he doesn't have access to his own money, his hard-earned money. He doesn't have access to it. He doesn't have access to it. And nobody has told him anything. Nobody has explained to him. Nobody has bothered out of courtesy to even address them and talk to them. And at this age, he is now on BP medication. At this age, he has been humiliated to the point where he now has to speak. He now has to speak and beg for his own money. What crime did the people commit? What wrong did the people do? And yet we are told that we are in this together. And the people who tell us that we are in it together, we see the extravagant lifestyle they live. So if your money is locked up and the person who owes you, imagine somebody comes to borrow money from you to go and throw a party. Money that you don't have, that you say, oh, this is very important to me, but because you have come to ask for it, I think I need to lend a helping hand to you. And the person goes to throw a party when you could have used the money for something else, much more valuable. And when you say, they say, don't say it. That's where the pain is. My own money. I cannot have access to it. When I ask questions, they say, shut up. Where from that arrogance? When you ask questions about your own money, they tell you to shut up. As if somebody is doing you a favor. But these are monies that you saved, your monies that you worked for, that you put it in a bank. And now we understand why people keep money at home. We are all being convinced to go and keep our money in the bank. We tell us, oh, we are building a cashless society. We are doing this, we're doing that. Then when you take your monies to the bank, you cannot have access to your money. And nobody wants to explain anything to you. Why? So now, do we realize what we are doing? We are trying now to encourage people to keep their monies at home. And when people start keeping their, because money is supposed to be in circulation. The money that he put there and left there at the bank, a young person could have gone for a loan to start something meaningful for himself or herself. Now, if people are tempted to keep their monies at home, as was done in the times of old, where people dug holes and kept their money, do you know what we are doing? We are reversing every progress we have made. And then next thing, because now the thieves know that, oh, people will keep their monies at home, then armed robbery cases might go up. Every cause has an effect. It was Newton that said action and reaction are opposite and equal. We know what is right. We won't do it. When you ask the question, you become the target. You will be vilified. Your character will be assassinated. Why? I saw a video of the vice president talking about the 24-hour economy. Listen to our vice president.
For one job, you will have 3 shifts and 3 workers. So if you have a school, one teacher will come in the morning, another will come in the evening, and another will come at midnight. Including kindergarten teachers. He also says it is voluntary and will be implemented gradually. Ewurade Nyankopɔn. Ladies and gentlemen, I am determined to make a difference, a positive difference. I will work for you and with you, with honesty and integrity, with wisdom and decisiveness. For one job, you will have 3 shifts and 3 workers. So if you have a school, one teacher will come in the morning, another will come in the evening, and another will come at midnight. Including kindergarten teachers. He also says it is voluntary and will be implemented gradually. Ewurade Nyankopɔn.
You know, yesterday when I saw this video, I had to restrain myself and listen again and again and again. You see this gradualist approach that elements of this government always poo-poo, and you can go back to the secondary schools and go and check. If we had agreed to a gradualist approach to free SHS, all the problems that we have with free SHS might not have happened. If we had agreed to a gradualist approach to free SHS, not just being concerned about the numbers, right? The problems we have now relative to feeding, accommodation, furniture, red, gold, green track, blue track, we would not have had those situations. But we were more concerned about the numbers, to the point where we even invested millions of cedis to buy Pasco for children. And when the children went to, it had to take the president to come now to forgive some children who were using unprintable words on our president. If we had agreed to a gradualist, and the same gradualist approach is what Dr. Baumia is laughing at. The countries that we go and shamelessly borrow from, because we told ourselves that we will not borrow, we will only have to toll the roads and use the monies to do all the things that we want. We had a minister in this country who woke up even before parliamentary approval and cancelled road tolls. We are still not decided in our minds if we want to bring it back or not. But in 2021, the road tolls was supposed to be, a budget item. It was supposed to be a revenue line for us. The countries that we go and borrow money from, those whose system runs 24 hours 7, do they have kindergarten children going to school in the night? Sometimes, let's be measured. The countries that we go and borrow money from, go cap in a pound begging. From taxation to production, from Gojisbergen economy to all the things that we said to ourselves that we will not go and borrow. Then later we changed. I said the countries where we go and borrow from, do they have children going to school, kindergarten children going to school at night? We claim that we have created jobs for young people. And yet there are many more unemployed young people walking the streets. People taking advantage of them. Many more young people walking the street, people are taking advantage of them. Last Friday, we spoke with somebody who says he's a security man. And he says for the whole month, he goes to work and he's paid 700 Ghana cedis. The money is not enough. He said it himself. He told us on air, on radio, when we went for the 3FM bus ride. There are people who are paid 350 cedis. There are people who are paid 400. If you find those security people walking around, the private security, ask them how much they are paid. People are taking advantage of others. Some even don't earn the minimum wage. And an opportunity to create more jobs for more people. There's a 2014 baseline survey. Mr. Kandapa knows what I'm talking about, our national security minister. It was a national security document. It says there's a youth bulge and the security implications. It's in that document. This government adopted that 2014 baseline survey. It was put in a national security document. I was part of the group of editors that were called for that briefing. Since we got that information, what exactly have we done to make sure that we reduce joblessness or unemployment as a country for our young people, as opposed to keeping retirees at post? What exactly have we done? That's why I brought you the first thing I said. I said, look, find it for me. It said money, what do you call it? If money buys conscience, stupidity rules. Apostle Abraham Lante, he put it out there. He put it out there. We ought to wake up as a people and stop quoting figures. We told the young people of this country that, we are going to, and this whole galamsey thing, we said, we're going to have one district, one factory, right? And then we're going to have one village, one dam that will help with irrigation. And then we're going to have one district, one warehouse to store the food, right? So that because there was a correlation when you stop galamsey, people go logging. We said it. We said we're going to do a triangle to create more jobs. If the factories have indeed been built and the factories are functional, why is the unemployment rate still going up if people are getting jobs? Number two, look on your dining table. Which of the breakfast items this morning that you would have, or even for lunch, or even for dinner, is produced here? That was the taxation to production thing. How have we achieved it? Because if we have built the factories, you won't find people trying to get in the wrong side of things. People would find jobs to do. People will find jobs to do. What is our priority? Look at what we have done with the National Cathedral. The money we have sunk into National Cathedral could have built us 2 factories. The money we have sunk into that hole could have built us 2 factories. Now what we do is that we go and look for somebody's factory and then we do paint maminto like that, but so can people do. We do pentimamento, we add something small, then we say we have adopted. My own friend, Kisi, he had a farm. He was looking for money from this government to expand his farm. He was not giving. Subsequently, when the tracker that was launched, he saw his farm in it. Nobody has contributed in it, but he saw his farm in it. Nobody has contributed, but he saw his farm in it. The dishonesty, the perfidy. It's a pity. And it looks like when you talk about it, it doesn't tickle anybody. Nobody is really concerned about fixing the issues. We will not mind you. We will not mind you. This morning, there's a graduate who is looking for an avenue for a job. He's at home. Somebody was telling me that 2020 batch of nurses, some are still at home. And I said, but nurses are of essential service to the nation. That's why other countries are rushing for our professionals. So, in the past, if you're a teacher or a nurse or a doctor, you know clearly that once you are done with school, there's ready employment for you. Today, the situation is different. There's a backlog. Some have been employed, but there's a backlog. And you ask yourself, why are we allowing such an important resource to go waste? And I'm told the nurses, they have to always get a certain pin. They have to be, upgrading and writing plenty things that they explain. They pay money for it. So he's sitting at home. He doesn't have a job. And then we play politics with, if we had even done just 10 of the Agenda 111 hospitals. And that's the wasteful nature that we start everything and block, boom. Then we get stuck in the middle. What we have spread all across, and nobody says it's a bad initiative. Agenda 111 is a good initiative. The only point of departure is where we used it for politics in 2020. And based on that, we went on that wild goose chase. Can you imagine if we had just 10 of those hospitals, 10 in the traditional, or even 16, one in each region, only 10 or 16? It would have created jobs. Healthcare would have been nice. The government is ending its tenure. We have a vice president who is number 2, who is promising to save his government from itself. A government that he is instrumental in. And we don't have even one of the Agenda 111 hospitals up and running. And we gave ourselves 18 months from when they started. And up until now, we don't have one. A contractor was telling me that now they have been asked to focus on the exterior. So they are painting it, they are plastering it, they put the roofing on it, they work on the windows to give you an impression that something is happening. If you have not finished, you have not finished. And if the stages that they have gotten to, I'm not a health professional, but if the stages that the hospitals have gotten to by now, we should be, but we are not there. Can't we be honest with ourselves for once? For once, can't we be honest with ourselves? Have a good morning. Please call me 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. After the break, we'll connect with you on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.
Hey, Mapadi, so you still haven't gotten any job?